Okay, now with that quick background, I want to then unpack this idea of similarity, dissimilarity a little bit more, because I'm not going to have any other time to give you information on it other than this. In your packet on the left side, I think it's the very back page of this piece that's stapled together, is some information about, more information about Stephen Rees's work with motivation. And Stephen Rees assessed about 10,000 people. It's more like 30,000 people now, if I remember right, 6 different countries. And as a result of that, his research identified 16 factors that drive and motivate people based on what people actually said. And I got intrigued by his research the first time I read it, because I saw that the issues that couples had and the issues that 2 co-workers had that were in conflict with one another, hear me, either couples or co-workers, see, we're in both worlds, were because they were polar opposites of a given factor. And a simple example of that would be like order. Are any of you like kind of really organized and, neat? How do you get along with somebody that's quite the opposite? You see, it challenges you, doesn't it? So people like this list because many other models that are out there, even though they may be broad in their access or people being aware of it, many of those dimensions have actually been formed theoretically. And the brilliance of the work that Steve Rees has done is that this is what people actually say drive and motivates them. They say, yeah, I want more romance and sex. I want food. It's a prime and driving force in my life. These topics make sense to people because it's what drives and motivates them. So what we do next is kind of look at, if you have a strong desire, here's the thing that you want. And then I've provided, for your convenience, the opposite. So a person that has a strong desire for acceptance needs a lot of pats on the back. The person that's opposite of that is so confident they don't give a care. So how does that have an impact on the world of work, for example? Well, a person that has a high drive for acceptance, they really need a lot of attaboys, and that's the way to go, and they really don't like their nose put in what they did wrong. But a person that's just has a low or weak desire for that has so much confidence that they can say, I can't believe this is the 3rd time that you've done this wrong. Something's going to have to change or you're in trouble. And they'll say, hey, they will say, they'll say, thanks for showing, thank you for showing me that. I needed that. And so, so it is very interesting how people respond very differently. There's also an application of this in the world of sports, because well, it's like this in the world of sports. Again, there are players that you can really push hard, and then there are others that you need to motivate a different way. So this kind of gives us a model to identify how we're going to approach given people. Of course, it has immediate translation too in respect to marriages, because it could be that if you think about a given person, somebody, for example, might be highly motivated by eating. And so what you'll want to say to, say, your husband, for example, is, darling, you know what you really want and love? Well, you're going to get that apple pie as soon as you do this for me. Well, it just works for some people. And for others, it wouldn't have any effect on them whatsoever. And as you understand what people's motivational system is, then you can use that methodology to motivate them in effective and appropriate means. On the next page, we look at the other 16 dimensions. And I just want to give you a few examples of this. This is an actual Reese relationship profile. And this is what a profile looks like. And here's a couple that I saw. And the guy is in dark blue and the woman is in light blue. The guy was highly curious. That was a high drive. Acceptance was important to him. Neither of them cared much about food. On the next slide, we see that romance was important to him, less important to her. Saving, he liked to save money and things. She liked to spend it. Okay, so who had the extramarital affair between these two people? He did. I'm not going to go back one slide, but the next question I'd ask is, was it an affair of the heart, or was it actually a sexual affair? And the answer is that it was actually an affair of the heart, because he was a person that had, I'm not going to take the time to explain it, but he had high values and kind of an idealism, and it was that commitment to being kind of a man of honor that kept him from acting out sexually. And so the interesting thing is that I was brought into their organization to help them because he was having this affair of the heart with his number two within the organization.